Dry and wet fumes. In the lower part of the sublunar place, in the homosphere, where all the components of the air are homogeneously mixed, the air is moist and cold and has an inseparable relationship with the element of water, as all weather phenomena occur there. The air in the troposphere has a percentage of dry and moist evaporation in it. The atmospheric pressure, known to us from the weather reports, is defined in this layer by the upper layer of the ionosphere, which sometimes compresses it a little and sometimes much more. In the upper part of the heterosphere, where the noble gases together with atomic oxygen and hydrogen are stacked in layers, according to the density of each gas, the air is hot and dry, having the element of fire in it. There we have the celestial phenomena. So, in one area we have the cycle of water with the weather phenomena, while in the higher one the cycle of vapors, where we have the celestial phenomena such as comets, meteors, explosions, shooting stars, black explosions, the band of the galaxy at the galactic equator and the north auroras, all of which occur in the high layers of the ionosphere in the upper part of the sublunar region, as we have said in detail in the third issue. So these fumes are emitted from the Earth either by natural or man-made factors. They are divided into wet ones when it comes to water and the water cycle, while dry ones when it comes to fumes of flammable materials, gasoline, oil, etc., which make a larger cycle, the cycle of dry fumes, as they reach the limits of the subselenium place with the ether. But they don't just make this cycle, nor do they evaporate all the time. The breath of the earth. The winds that blow below and the vapors brought to the surface of the earth by the ground are directly affected by changes in the electromagnetic field that affect the atmospheric pressure and temperature, just as water is in the case of the tides, which we discussed at length in Book 4. They change direction and sometimes go up and sometimes down, since the porous earth has cavities below and creates negative pressure by phases in the air of the earth's surface, just as it happens in the tide phenomenon with the waters. Exhalation phase. We have low atmospheric pressure and evaporation of water vapor and fumes upwards towards the troposphere if it is vapor water, or towards the ionosphere if there are gases from flammable materials. Inhalation phase. We have high atmospheric pressure and evaporation of dry and wet fumes, water vapor, and fumes from flammable materials downward towards the subsoil. Underground cycle of fumes. As we saw in the third issue, there is also the underground water cycle in addition to the well-known one that we all know. This is also the case with fumes dry or wet, which also make an underground cycle. Fumes generally occur when we have solar radiation and generally heat, while at night and in a cold environment they seem to stop. They don't actually stop, but change direction, going underground. 1. There is high atmospheric pressure conditions. The winds and any evaporation are directed downwards since we are in the inhalation phase. 2. Fumes from the Earth's surface flow into the Earth's interior through the pores in the soil. 3. Due to negative pressure, the fumes are directed from the ground to the subsoil where they are concentrated under pressure in pits. 4. The fumes are now concentrated in the underground pits, and depending on their composition and density, they form an unsaturated mixture under pressure. 5. In cases where the mixture becomes saturated, we have a strong explosion and ignition of the vapor of fume gas in huge pressure and temperature. 6. After the gases have exploded and expanded, they first flow out of the escape port or ports from the ground to the Earth's surface, followed by the molten subsoil material lava if the explosion was from dry fumes, or by water if the evaporations were liquid. 7. In the case of a strong explosion, we have a collapse of the underground pits and a disturbance which is transmitted upwards to be felt on the ground as an earthquake. As we have said, the Earth is a living organism that breathes in and out due to the pulsating electromagnetic field under its influence, which is perceived by the phenomenon of tides and ebbs. In the same way, the vapors, whether dry or wet, occur alternately upwards and downwards periodically.